everybody. We're a little bit early because I just wanted to make sure everything's okay with the connection and everything. But we're going to be having our foamies starting any minute now. So let's get everybody in the room. So long. It's going to be a good session. Let me tell you. We've had some fantastic questions come through, and I managed to get a few questions from a few people in this production who may have a bit of a history with Josh. So we will see. So we have 2 minutes until we get that connection going. So in the meantime, everybody get yourself a cup of coffee. I've got my cappuccino here, ready to go. All is looking fantastic on this side. Now we just wait for that guy. Speak of the devil. Okay. We're gonna wait and see. This could be huge. Hello, everybody. Everybody's putting up fantastic emojis. Let's see here. Let's see. Got questions? No, we don't want those. We don't want those just yet. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here he comes. Here he comes. This is it. There he is! You have to have some sort of entrance music, mate. Otherwise, there'd be no point to this at all. the
That's all I've got.
That's
all I can give you. A beanie.
I gave you a shirt this week, and normally I'm in a robe at this point, but I thought I'd fancy it up with a Henley.
So, straight up, you don't take off anything between shows.
Yep. No.
We
got a 2 p.m. and a 7 p.m. And by the time everything comes off, I probably have half an hour before I have to start again. Okay. So, as a bit of mercy for Tanya. Your makeup lady's also Tanya, right?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Hey,
as a mercy for her, I just keep it on.
Hey.
Are you seeing everybody there? Everybody's like,
yeah, no, I'm saying hey to you properly first. We're going straight to talking about makeup. Hey. Mate, so good to see you. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is, like, most of the time, the world tour production happens, and then there's Broadway in New York, West End and Broadway, and you guys always get to talk to each other, and so the world tour is kind of like. So it's about time that we have some sort of connection, because we're not the best kept secret. We're all part of the same family, so that's fantastic.
And you're, as I said just before, you're the beacon of hope for not just Phantom, but for all of theatre in the entire world at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a strange situation to be in, because when everything started happening in the world, we just got here. Korea's curve was in a completely different place. So we've followed every single guideline and stipulation that the government has laid down, and our audiences are doing exactly the same thing, and they're following the rules, and that's that. So
it's actually amazing,
kind of what it comes down to.
It's sort of a good blueprint for other countries and other communities to go, hey, this can work.
I mean, I think ultimately everybody's different. Every territory is different, and the reasons are different. I'm sweating up a storm because I only just got out of the costume, so excuse me. But yeah, at no point is this ever a case of, oh, we're better than them, or that, that's all it's about. There are lots of factors that come into it, as you know. But certainly, the most amazing thing so far is, when we went back to work, the audiences hadn't changed. They were still, it was a great sized house, and you could feel that they all desperately needed to be there, and they wanted the show, and they wanted to be with it all the way through. And but when the curtain comes down at the end, and then it goes back up, and the ballet girls are standing there. Audiences take a while to start. They started cheering from the beginning. They were on their feet from the beginning, and it's been like that since we've reopened. So it's quite amazing to see.
Everyone knows they're in a sort of collective community of something amazing that's happening.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And that consciousness is really special, because I think it provides an energy between all performers and audience, and lifts the sort of stakes of the whole show.
Oh yeah. I mean, we knew that we were part of a bit of history with the show, at the very least, because with this particular production, Korea's had Phantom many times. Korea loves Phantom, but there was just something so fitting for it to be in Korea at this point. It is sad because, on the other hand, we can't really connect with fans. But it's better that way for now. We follow the rules, and we just keep it that way, because we can't see anybody at stage door. And of course,
you're connecting on another level. They're connecting on.
But if you could have in the mirror, and you're looking out and you see the audience, you and I get to see the audience, and we sort of check them out for quite some time before we go on. And the next thing, I look out at the audience, and obviously now everybody's got a mask on, but the orchestra pit, there's a rail, and the light spills out, and you don't see people sit back like that normally and what. This time you saw all their faces because they were leaning over the rail, like watching and like really wanting to be part of this again. So I'm hoping for everybody there's going to be like a phoenix effect. Theatre was taken away, and when it's back, people will realize how much they need it and they love it, and they'll just stay with it. Yeah. So full houses for everybody.
Fingers crossed, mate. Whenever that may be. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. Firstly, for those people who have sent through questions and stuff, I have questions first for Jonathan, because this is the first time we've interacted in any sort of physical sense. We've had some voice memos, we've had some text conversations, but this is first physical interaction. So there's things I haven't even asked that I want to know.
Exactly.
Firstly, you're South African. Where did the accent go?
The accent?
Where is it?
Oh, South African accent.
You don't say. Yeah.
Well, you see, I think there are a few South Africans out there that give the rest of us a bad name because the vowels are like flat beyond speech. But I think being in theatre, you're constantly trained to enunciate better, so you don't think about that. But I had some very good English teachers at school who.
Are you from Joburg?
I'm from Joburg, yeah.
Now when you say Joburg, you sound South African.
Yeah, Joburg. I wish I was from Cape Town, but I'm actually from Joburg, so that's just the way it is. But most people mistake me as being British or even Irish, which is just bizarre. But I think ordinarily, because of what was that, the Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio doing a South African accent, not all South Africans speak like this, you don't all sound like that. Some of us just sound normal as well. Not that people who speak like that aren't normal, but you know what I'm saying.
Not as guttural.
Yeah, it's not as, dare I say, it's not as bogan.
Yeah, bogan.
There you go.
So growing up there, firstly, was it, did you sort of live in a state of sort of fear and like, was that a thing growing up there? Like, did you, driving in the car with the folks, did you have to run through the red light so that, you didn't get hijacked? Like, you hear all these horror stories in Joburg.
Yeah, I think, let's be honest, every major city has its areas that are dangerous. Every major city has its stories of, the worst things possible happening all the time. New York has it, London has it, Australia has its fair share every now and again. So, that sort of civil unrest is not a thing. I think because of our political and racial history, the impression is that it's 100% crime ridden all the time, because the people who do come to South Africa as tourists who sort of walk around as if they're still in their hometowns, they don't behave as though they're in a foreign country. They keep the jewelry out and it's all on show. There are seasons where the tourists are out that, you can go nick someone if you walk in the center of town. But when I was growing up, I had the best childhood. I was safe. I never ever felt scared for my life. I think the way the news is reported, South Africa looks so much worse than it is. But I've had a few people come out and see South Africa recently from all over the world. And everybody seems to be a bit disappointed at how safe it is, because they've been preparing, to almost put on armor to go outside. And you don't need it. You just need to keep your head about you. And I think when people go on holiday to Africa, they think, I'm just going to go out and see lions and tigers and I'll be absolutely safe. But it is still a city with its own fair share of crime, like New York City.
Yeah.
We might have a bit more of it, but it's not the rule of thumb. Certainly not.
When I was in Joburg 12 years ago, that had in certain areas, you had an air of stuff, and in other areas not. In Cape Town, it was like, feel anything else, So in that, like, how did you get into the arts, and what sort of brought you into the arts? I just want to get a baseline for me, and then we'll go into other stuff, and I'm sure you have questions for me too.
I think I was I was a very, very overweight child, so I was bullied a lot initially. And I found, as most children who are bullied do, if you can make your bullies laugh or you can entertain your bullies, you distract them and you don't get bullied anymore. And then I realized that was actually a legitimate job in the world and people would pay you to do that. So that's how I got into that. And initially I was meant to be part of the rugby team. They wanted me for their prop. And they found out that I could sing. And we were doing a production of Guys and Dolls in high school, and they needed more boys, which is always the case in schools. And I got into the major production, and I just became a drama kid, quite happily. So it was
what
one of
age
those
was that?
funny things. That was about 13.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to pause that thought very quickly because I have a surprise for you.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Brace yourself. I've got two people who know you. Look who it is. And look
What?
who it is.
Oh my God! Everyone's here. Right, Freed. Look at that face. Look at that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
face.
our resident director, Rainer Freed, and our stage manager extraordinaire, Sandy Beckerback.
Hi, we just thought we'd pop in and say hello.
Hi.
You look so good in a mask, Rainer. Like, I feel like you, and I know you know the plot. I reckon you're a shoo-in second or third Phantom cover.
He sings along in the wings all the time. It's horrendous.
Yes, yes.
He loves it.
I knew you'd be impressed. I'm
very impressed.
I'll leave you to it.
So everyone,
do you have a
Rainer and
question for
I
Josh
worked on Beautiful, the Carol King musical together, and I developed a strong romance for him. And Blood Brothers with Sandy. But she's left. Has she not left the room?
Yeah, she's hiding outside by the door now.
She's hiding.
She's shy.
I don't have any questions.
Love you, mate.
At least not any that I would want to ask.
But he has notes. He told me he has notes.
He always has notes. He still has notes from my final night of Beautiful almost 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Always has notes.
I didn't think they were going to do that. They seemed a bit like oh, what's this Insta? They're old. What's this Insta Live thing? So just like hilarious. So
you know what? I'd love to see Ryan's Christine. He is always great at the female characters whenever you're in rehearsals.
Oh, he always wants to step in, doesn't he?
Always. And acts like he doesn't, but he does.
Oh, and then he just blossoms in front of your eyes, and you're like, this man was born for this role. Yeah. So.
I'd love to see his dressing room scene as Christine. I think he'd do a stellar job.
Oh, when he taught look at me forgetting names, horrendous. Claire, our Christine, who you know, we had all the sessions in Israel. So Claire came in, knew the part because she did it for many years before that. And then all of a sudden, Rainer started wanting to mime all the stuff for her and sit here maybe and look out and did it. And eventually Matt and I were just standing looking and going, this guy, he loves the show so much. He's been with it for 30 years. Of course he does.
I absolutely love it. He auditioned me in Copenhagen for the Australian tour in 2008 and subsequently cast me as cover Raoul, cover Phantom. And then I couldn't get out of a contract and
Oh my God.
couldn't do it. So that was my first run-in with him, and then I felt terrible for so long. And every time I saw him, I wanted to have this awkward conversation and apologize because I wasn't sure whether he knew the sort of dynamics of what went down. And finally, during Love Never Dies, I cornered him at the stage door in Sydney. I was doing something else, and I just like profusely apologized. And he was like, I don't care. That was like 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah,
But,
he's so chill.
but,
He's so German in that sense, actually.
yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And he's so neutral about everything as well. Like, oh yeah, he's
You weren't
like a
available.
Buddhist
We
approach.
got someone else. Yeah,
exactly.
He's the best.
It's business.
So on South Africa, you need to tell me the difference between all the variations of nows and what they mean.
Okay. So if
For those who
somebody
don't know,
says,
I feel like South Africans have lots of different ways that they say the word now, and they mean lots of different things.
Yeah, there's three major ones. There's now, I'll see you now, which is like in 5 minutes. I'll see you now, which is, call that maybe 10 minutes. And I'll see
so
you
now
just now.
is less than now.
It depends.
Oh, okay.
It's always the inflection. If somebody says, I'll see you now, it's basically, leave me alone.
Okay.
But if somebody says, okay, I'll see you just now, it's like, yeah, yes, I will. It's more of a confirmation that you'll see them as opposed to an idea of time. And then
you
my
can
favorite
understand
one,
for the layman how confusing that might be.
then there's now, just now. I think that's all of them.
Yeah, I recall 3 variations on now.
Yeah, but each of those have got variations in themselves in terms of your tone. So if somebody says, am I seeing you just now? You say, yeah, I'll see you now. Every South African watching this knows exactly when I'm going to see them if I say that to them. So it's just one of those things. You'll get into that the more you spend time with South Africans. What's hilarious is that we have a very international company. We have South Africans, we have Japanese, we have Taiwanese, we have Australian, we have British, we have American. It's a really multinational company. There's a few South Africanisms that have crept into conversation now, like, is it? If somebody says, wow, it's really hot outside, you go, is it? Meaning, yes, it is. So the other thing is, how's it? That's our Greek thing. How's it? Sure. SJOE means goodness me. Sure. Which is great.
What about you must? Like you have no option. The receiver has no option. Oh, you must do this. I tell you, you must.
No, I've never heard that. I think that's more of an Afrikaans.
You must is a constant South Africanism I hear in Australia.
My favorite is ach man, which you can apply to anything. So if you're scrolling through Instagram and you see a really stupid post, you go, ach man.
Okay.
That's the best. That's the absolute best one. Because you can apply it to almost any situation. Or it can be cute. Ach man. And we always say...
It's not like a sort of Iranian man's name.
No, it's... no, ach man, it's 2 words. A-G and then M-A-N, man. Ach man. And then my favorite one is shame.
Oh, shame.
South Africans use shame all the time. If you see somebody sweet or somebody cute or a baby, you go, oh, shame, man, meaning adorable. Or
I love that one.
We had a proposal during the show. Our Meg and one of our head riggers got engaged. Or is he head of automation? I don't know what Gary does, but he's in the show. And they all got in a group and they proposed, and all the South Africans were like, oh, shame. And initially people were like, why? It's great. It's great. So yeah. But Australian has its own sort of slang and lingo that you guys use.
If you need confirmation of anything, I can get my bogan on for you.
I'll go on. Because obviously I know about is it fair dinkum?
Fair dinkum.
Yep.
The alternative is fair sucker the sav.
I'm going to need that
fair suck
again.
of the sav, mate. Fair suck of the sav. And if you don't
Which
say it with
means?
that accent, excuse my language, fucked if I know. But it sort of means that fair sucker the sad. I would never say it, but it's one of those, like, you'd say it instead of fair dinkum. It's fair dinkum. Oh no, fair sucker the sad might be a reaction to something that is fair dinkum.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, Australia has some of the
wins so
weirdest
far, I have to
ones.
say. That's fantastic. But I mean, South Africa and Australia share certain strains of people as well, so we're not that far apart, to be frank. I have to say, some of the questions that came through initially, because we both put out that thing on Instagram that said, "Do you have any questions I should ask Josh or John?" Man, some of the questions I got.
Really?
Oh my word!
Come on, give me some good ones. Or some
The one, first of all, there were some trolls that wanted you to follow their account. It's a gymming account, and they follow you back, by the way. So that's your motivation.
You won an iPhone 11, just so you know.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
All right.
That was the answer to that was a question. You have now won an iPhone 11.
Oh, and then because then you will. I'll just have to send the postage fee to an Iranian prince. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I got it. No, I think what's interesting with Instagram being this accessible now, you and I, and then now inviting everybody else to watch us. People tend to forget that we've never met them. So they ask questions that they'd be fine asking their friends. But, I'm not going to ask you what your salary is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to ask that.
Was that one of the questions?
I'm also
what
not going to
does
ask
he
you.
earn?
Brace yourself. I'm not going to ask you what size underwear you wear.
Medium.
But honestly, some of these questions, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But some of them were good, and I wrote them all in a little book here.
I'll put them on my computer in front of me.
The best one was, have you read Susan Kay's Phantom?
No.
Do you know about it?
Yes, I haven't read it.
Because I saw I think it was a Broadway.com video with Hugh Panaro, back when I was like going through any Phantom documentary I could find. And he mentioned it. So I typed into Amazon and I ordered it, and this Bible arrived, like thick Bible-sized book. I was like, oh God. And it's a good book, but I think only people who've done First Lair will understand. You can't cram that amount of information and backstory into the breath between music and nighttime sharpens. You just can't.
You've got room for a few things, not 64 things, probably.
I mean, gosh, the amount. And then people always ask you the same question of, who do you base your Phantom on? The Lon Chaney version, or the book, or this or that? And at the end of the day, it's just like, you have to sing the songs and do the blocking and mean what you say, and that's kind of it.
I do my version of it. And that's why I categorically don't watch other people's versions of it. Like, if something flicks up on my Instagram search and someone's having a bit of a sing or something, sure, I'll have a little look. But, like, I'm not, like, there going, oh, he did that. If I grab that guy, that bit from Warlow and that bit from Ramin and that bit from John Owen Jones and that bit from Jonathan, they're all great Phantoms. I'm going to do a great Phantom. That's bullshit. Like,
no, it looks like Frankenstein.
It doesn't equate. Yeah, and it's not A plus B plus C plus D equals amazing performance. It's connect
There's no
with the text and the music and bring your own soul to it, and that's how you are going to do the most compelling version for you at this point in your life.
Yeah.
Because in 5 years' time, you come back to it, it's going to be a different thing again.
Precisely. I mean, I found that coming back to it like 8 years later. Do you find being younger, because we're both younger Phantoms, we're considered quite young still, most Phantoms are like in their 40s. Do you find the youth aspect an interesting inclusion?
I don't think about it.
As opposed to having 20 years between you and Christine.
I think the one thing that it takes out of it is any sort of sense of like pedo Um, and
Lol.
it's just like,
Lol.
you know, it's not like this sort of as much of a father figure trying to be a romantic figure in a creepy way.
Yeah.
It's like
The times have
they're in the
changed.
same age bracket. She could really go for him.
Yeah.
Like this is
I think, you know, the
I feel there's a stronger
Phantom
love
love
connection.
triangle.
The triangle.
Yeah.
The triangle's
Yeah.
stronger.
It needs to be closer. Otherwise, if it's sort of like a much older Phantom and younger Val and Christine, in this day and age, with all of the hashtag campaigns going out there, the context of the show is completely different now to what it was in the 80s. Because back then, you know, what was considered sexy was, you know, a bad boy. And, you know, Crawford playing this deeply sexual, wanting to touch all the time, sort of dark, weird guy versus a knight in shining Armani was brand new. Whereas now we're in a society of bad boys where chivalry has become the new novelty.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of shifted. So you can't really compare it anymore. But I certainly, what I've said a few times when people bring up my age as though that's a talking point, is he is described as a prodigy. That implies, you know, abilities beyond his years. So there is something in the story, in the text, as you say, in the text, to support it. But yeah, it's always fascinating how many people think they know how it should be done because they've watched a few YouTube videos. Always very frustrating, and I love it that people have this ownership of the role and the show. But oh no.
But I even say that I don't own it. That's how I feel about it. I go,
yeah.
But I say it in the same way I don't even own the house that I own. I'm like, I'm a custodian of this. I'm the gatekeeper of this for the amount of time that I have it. Nothing in life is permanent. Impermanence is the basis of all existence. We're all going to die one day. So in this time that I get to wear it, I'm going to live it as much as possible. But at some point I take it off and it's the next person's time to be the gatekeeper, be the custodian. And so I feel like that allows me to step into it and step out of it without this sort of attachment that I own, it's mine, get away from, like this sort of like, it separates the ego from the art, I guess.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, you know, so many people have played it and so many people still will play it. I mean, you being in that dressing room at the Her Majesty's, the room that Crawford used to get ready in, you know, I mean, how many...
And Laurence Olivier.
Yeah. I mean, is it Beer Bomb Tree?
Yeah, Herbert.
His ghost's still there, isn't there?
He is.
Yeah, I thought so. Do you still have the Robert Heindel print of the three Crawfords? You can't get that anywhere. You cannot find that anywhere. I love that. It's
so beautiful, that print. And sometimes I just look up to it and I'm like, thanks, mate. Like, what you created has given me and hundreds of other people the opportunity to create it again. So,
no, spot on.
Cheers, mate. I'd love to meet him and just give him a hug.
Oh, I mean, I've always wanted to meet him.
We're talking about Crawford, by the way. I would love to meet him.
Yeah, no, not Beer Bomb Tree. I think before the opening night at Manila when we launched this tour, Megan Pacherno organized an email from Michael Crawford to me, wishing me well for the tour. Yeah. Well, I think everybody in New York knows each other. And it's funny how small that industry is. I mean, I suppose everybody in London knows each other as well. So
I guess so. That's crazy.
It was amazing to see that. And
I want to know firstly what he wrote, and secondly, did you write one back saying, "Dear Michael, wishing you were somehow here again"?
Oh God, no! I was just forwarded the mail. I wasn't given any details.
Okay, what did he say?
He just said, you know, wishing you well for your fantastic role as the Phantom, and just, you know, one of those really nice mails that somebody would send because they know what it's like to play the role. Only a Phantom could send a mail like that. And
so beautiful.
I just thought, you know, the fact that he still understands that, he understands what a big deal it is to play the role #1, and also what a big deal it is to, you know, start from scratch with this, as opposed to not knowing Phantom at all. And I think the thing about him that I've always admired is he's never ever been bored or inconvenienced by the legacy of Phantom. He's happy to talk about it at any point, like almost like Cameron McIntosh when he talks about Les Mis.
How grateful they are for it.
Exactly, they turn into children. Cameron McIntosh, yes, dear. Now, if you think about it, dear, he goes right into the book, and he starts talking about the ore in the book, and there was a cart, and there was a this. And he's got all those details at his fingertips. Crawford's the same. If you watch him in any interview, the minute he talks about Phantom, number one, the middle fingers start going in, and he gets the Crawford hands start happening, which is hilarious. But it's amazing. It's amazing that he's still that supportive. You know?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, are you ready for another question?
Yeah, or do you want one first? A quick one.
What is your favorite Phantom hat?
I'm going to be really controversial and say it's the Mausoleum.
Yeah.
Just because it always feels the most secure.
Oh, the others keep falling off.
Well, it just feels like just the way it sits. Like there's none of this. It's just like, oh. It's just, I don't know. It just has like a security about it. Plus, you don't get to wear it for very long.
Yeah, I mean, I love the feathers. You know, those are.
The feathers are good.
Do you know why those feathers are there? Apparently.
No, tell me.
So this
is a Maria thing.
Yeah. Because you know they're rooster feathers.
Yeah.
It's a cockfight scene.
Oh. Well,
That's why she put them there.
Oh, I like that.
And I was just like, oh, yeah. Okay, that's strangely practical. Although I love the fact that he's got a hat for the graveyard, he's got a hat for composing, he's got a hat for boat rides. You know, the guy is keeping millionaires in Paris, you know, employed with us 20,000 francs a month. But our hats were all brand new because I think initially I still have my hats from the last tour, but they were a bit old. So they're like, oh, let's just go ahead and get some new ones. And in the past, I always inherited hats that had other people's names in them. And this was the first time I had a new label with just my name on it. So it was one of those amazing, I mean, surely you feel the same way.
Yeah. Do you get that feeling sometimes with the labels that you go, God, I hope it doesn't fall off and sort of land somewhere and people just see Jonathan. And it just sort of ruins the whole. I have
just
the
sticking
weirdest
out the
fears in the
collar
theatre.
on night.
Yeah,
little label.
And my name's slightly spelt wrongly on one of them. On one of my coats. It's got a double T and Piterman.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
Yeah. The coat falls off. It lands in the front row. Not that anyone would care. They'd grab it. They'd hide it. They'd chuck it on eBay.
It's a massive gain on eBay, quite frankly.
Oh, God.
All right, your turn.
Okay. If the Phantom, so this is from at Angel Knows, if the Phantom was allowed an animal companion, what would it be? What would you have? I'm sort of picturing a Dr. Evil.
Yeah, like a little hairless cat. No, if he was the Phantom, Paris. I mean, I don't see a poodle in the final layer. I just don't see that happening. But funnily enough, I think he'd have a bird.
Oh yeah.
I think a bird would be the best thing because it could sit on the portcullis or on the organ, you know, a little composing bird. And then every time he runs out, he just takes a quill out the bird and carries on composing. It'd be brilliant.
And funnily enough, the bird would be called Gustav, and there'd be this whole. You named it after the bird.
Yeah. Because that'd be fantastic because it's. Oh, I like that actually because then you'd have a kid and a bird named after Christine's father. It's so twisted. It's perfect. Now, what sort of bird would it be? I think he'd probably have like a pheasant or something with long feathers or something, easily found in Paris. Because in an ideal world, I think you should have a swan in the lake, a little old swan. But I'm getting Dumbledore vibes. If he's in the Mandarin coat and he's got forks on his shoulder there, you know, during the music thing. Yeah, or a peacock. Somebody says a peacock.
Oh, peacock! I like a peacock.
That's That's pimp. And then that gives an inspiration for Love Never Dies with a peacock dress.
The dress.
So it all ties.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Your question.
What is the most embarrassing onstage incident for you?
Oh, I've told this story a couple of times. I knew this question would come up. So, at the end of Past the Point, the proposal, so to call it, the ring moment, I choose to get down on one knee in sort of all I ask of you style.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not an everyone choice, but it's a Josh choice. It's a flawed choice at times, especially when the whole inner seam of your right leg breaks. It's okay. I'm in the car. Got the car. So exit stage left. Inform my dresser, Linda. I miss you, Linda. And she's like, cool. We'll sort it after down once more. You're still in the car. Get off after down once more. She's got pins ready to go. Doesn't work. Someone get some tape. Tried to tape it up. For some reason, doesn't work.
God.
It was destiny for me to go out there with lots and lots of inner leg, literally right up to almost bits. And I was sort of awkwardly changing blocking, like trying to do everything this to cover it up. And then if I'm on the other side, quickly get there so no one sees it and cover it up. There was so many phantom bevels. And,
in profile, just in profile all the time.
Profile and when I'm sitting on the throne, I was trying to cover it up. The showgirl leg was really active. That's the best way to describe it. Sort of cover up.
God.
Afterwards, some fans, saw me at stage door. No one noticed it.
No.
Bar one person. I'm like, how did you know? It was a gaping pant wound and no one noticed it. So that was my most embarrassing moment.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you say that because I got 3 new sets of trousers here because I had the same pair of trousers for over a year. And I forgot how in the beginning, those pants are tailored so well that, movement is not a great thing all the time. And, he is surprisingly, he's meant to be quite flexible, climbing here and hiding there and, crouching there. And I kept, my braces weren't long enough, so the pants kept riding low. So the crotch was actually sitting here between my legs. So I had to keep pulling them up, but I forgot. And I sat down on the bench in the cowl, also Point of No Return. It's a horrible, horrible scene. And I heard the back go, bah! And I was like, oh no, because the pants are actually sitting much lower. So now they've actually torn that way because they aren't sitting where they're meant to sit. And I turned to Bella, my dress, and I said, I think the back has gone. She's like, no, it's fine. It looks fine. So I finished it and I did my bow. And the person standing directly behind me as I bowed went, woo! And that's how I knew. Because it was the one day I had light blue underpants. Genie blue, you'd say.
Classic.
It's always the case with those pants. But do you find when you put them on, it's just like, that feels good.
Any costume I put on, every part of the costume I put on, it's there's a lot of mirrors in the old Crawford dressing room, and it's that, this is perfection.
Look at me.
Look at me. And then when the mask goes on, it's this
amazing.
Now
tell me about your mask. Is yours also vacuum formed to a mold of your face?
It's a 3D camera that went around me when I had just the wig cap on.
Yeah.
And then they do this 3D footage thing, and it gets a 3D scan of my face, and then that creates a mold, and they build a mask to the mold of that, and all of, like, the camera takes about 30 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had
It's incredible. I think I'm the
Alginate.
first to have that. Or David Thaxton maybe was the first to not have to do the whole thing.
Because that's a nightmare. That is an
Yeah.
absolute nightmare. Oh, wow. Okay, so do they then 3D print your head?
Yeah.
Wow.
And give you a little mini-me version of it to take home.
That's amazing.
Which is sort of a bizarre form of micro-narcissism that
Or just
is
make
weird.
Christmas decorations.
Yeah, just my own bald head on the Christmas tree.
Well,
yeah, but that doesn't look like you.
how dare you? It's the spitting image. What are you talking about?
It's the
I
same.
have a perfectly square face.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I just have, it's all pupil.
So much people.
So that's amazing. Okay, because your mask has got the eyebrow, mine doesn't.
Yes.
Our designer, Bob McCarran, Dr. Bob, I'm sure you recognize him from TV. What program is he on? Anyway, he's on a TV program in Britain and Australia. But he does all of these. And it's still got the Bjornsson, the Roman nose that Bjornsson is always obsessed about.
Yeah.
So he's kept, because he was in contact with them. But when he redesigned this for the first tour outside of America, the way he did it is he didn't ask Hal for permission. He just he did his own sculpture, covered it in like a fabric, and Hal came to the workshop and was like, "What's under there?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." And he took it off and he looked at Bob. He said, "You're a crafty guy." And he said, "I love it. Keep it." And that's how he got his clearance. So a lot of it was, this looks more handmade.
Yes.
And basic, far more basic,
Yeah.
so that it's slightly more neutral, because the eyebrow that we used to have, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the eyebrow. It kind of sometimes prescribes an emotion. Whereas the ambiguity of this, you just don't know. And that's why I put the eye back.
Yeah, so you chose to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'd always wanted to, but I was too shy when I first did Phantom. This time around, I was like, and what's cool about it is because this mask is set slightly, let me just try and move this way, further back. When this is dark, you can't really see my eye, but with a white pupil, it really pierces through. And
Yeah.
like,
No, I've noticed that. I'm like,
give it a
it's
try.
intense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
That's super cool. My turn, or your turn?
Go for it.
Okay. This is from Octiorific. Well, I answered the second part, which is, have you met each other in real life? This is sort of real life now.
There you go.
So yes and no.
This is our first date.
This is our first date. And you're so charming. What other roles do you imagine yourself playing?
It's a funny thing.
And I think it was a question for both of us that we would both play.
Oh, together?
Yeah, possibly in separate parts of the world.
I mean, we kind of had that discussion briefly. What was our list? It was Chess, Secret Garden, Kiss of the Spider Woman, Blood Brothers.
Blood Brothers, yeah. I think Into the Woods probably could be thrown in there.
We would be the two princes.
There we
That'd be
go.
Fantastic. That would be fantastic.
And we swap
like
which prince we were each.
Every night.
Yeah.
Now, how about this for an idea? Why don't we do Beauty and the Beast, but we swap Gaston and Beast? Because then we can have nights when we can sing
183
pretty,
people watching,
and nights when we can be funny.
Yep. Any of the 182 people watching want to produce that. We're both up for that.
Yeah, done.
And the other one is Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We could both do it on separate nights, and then do times when one's Jekyll and one's Hyde, and then switch. We do all the variations.
I love that. I think it's a great idea. Jekyll, I've got to say, Jekyll and Hyde is a show I've always wanted to go and do, but you know, it's not regarded in the way I think it should be. But that's a nodule show. Let me tell you, that's a nodule show.
Absolutely nodule.
But if you do it properly, you get the nodules just on the one chord, so you know it's fine.
Isn't it sort of quite loved in Southeast Asia? Like, isn't it done?
Korea is Frank Wildhorn country. His production of Dracula is on at the moment. And friends of mine in the cast were part of a production of Jekyll maybe 3-4 years ago here in Korea. Very, very popular.
Okay.
It's really, really well loved.
So,
but I mean, I've got to say, even
it
like Frank
deserves
Wildhorn in general.
a new life.
Well, I mean, maybe with someone like you.
Ah, yes. Fantastic.
But only if they take me as I am.
Well.
I can keep going. I know this is all a facade.
Yes, but this may or may not
eyes,
be the moment to decide.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want a confrontation, but you know, it could be worth
We
it.
get along so well. Okay, you're up. Next one.
Okay. Tell us. So, people keep asking about your shoes in the show.
Yeah.
What do you wear in the show?
Boots.
Yeah. Tell us about your boots, Josh.
They're black. They're leather.
There you go.
They're lace up. They're about an ankle high boot. Think a sort of ye olde France version of a black Converse high top. That's what it is.
Yeah. Do you have a solid sole?
I don't even know.
Do they bend?
A little bit. There's some give.
Yeah, because I had a pair like that the first time I did it, and this time around on this production, because I don't climb as many ladders as you do, they gave me a split sole boot, which, can I tell you, is so much more comfortable.
What, like a jazz boot?
Yeah, they were initially made on Broadway for Hello Dolly, so that all those period men could dance in split soles. But because my track in this production, I have a small ladder. That's it. I'm not climbing up the cross. Or you go in the lift, don't you?
Not during the show to go up anywhere, but at the end of Act 1 to get back down, I go
That's
on the
right.
lift. Yeah.
But you have to climb that ladder, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of ladders to climb.
Yeah. You need a sturdier boot. I don't need that, so they gave me the split sole that your feet can actually bend, and like, so when I walk, I like creep, and it really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mask nearly came off. I nearly got fired.
I just love that like, I'm sorry, this is a guy response. So someone said this is like my response to such a guy response. But honestly, when I go out there or when I'm in my dressing room to get ready, boots are so low on the agenda of importance. It's like, are my laces tied up or not, is as far as I go.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about intention, objective. How am I feeling today here? How am I feeling today here? Like, boots, not high. And in fact, if someone said referred to boots, I would think they were referring to the pharmacy around the corner.
Boots, yeah.
Not what's on my feet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I think the fandom, because they've watched the show like 10 times or more, you have really finished that whole bottle of water, haven't you?
Yep.
You're a thirsty
3
guy.
a day. Keeps the doctor away.
Good God. Okay. They have the luxury to start focusing on all the other things. So as viewers, it is easy to talk about the Phantom's boots or the ring or which finger he wears the ring on. That's also a topic of discussion. But yeah, I think in the moment people don't realize what you need to focus on to get through this particular role. I don't know about you. I initially started in Manila, and I really struggled at times in Manila because I was thinking too big a picture. I was thinking of the entire arc all the time. And I found in this one, I have to go literally scene by scene. And that's that. Because it's overwhelming. It'll crush you before you even get to the Don Juan proposal. Now, question. What do you do on a day where you wake up and you go, oh, this isn't as good as it could be? Because those happen.
Of course they happen. That's just a normal part of doing it. What I've definitely learned is sort of what's my baseline. I guess took a few months to work out, like, what's the absolute baseline of feeling vocally that I can deal with to rock up that night or that afternoon to do the show. And so that just takes a little while. And I think you work that out in every show, what that is. And so, but in every show, it does take its time. I just hum, like, I don't do anything heavy singing. I don't go, oh, yep, it's there, like have a old-fashioned scream. Like, just hum, just acknowledge where it is and be light and be kind to it. Drink water, steam, don't talk. I don't talk till midday any day. I just give this thing a bit of a rest. It took me a few months to learn that that's a part of my procedure. And then I always get to the theatre about 2.5 hours or 2 to 2.5 hours before curtain up, so that I can do my own physical and vocal and emotional, spiritual, whatever woo-woo stuff I do to get me right. And if I find that I'm not right at that 2.5 hours before, then I'd call it then. So I give myself every opportunity. And I've had 2 instances where I feel a bit under and have tried to push through and have literally got to the end of the makeup chair and gone, I've got nothing. I've actually got nothing. It's gotten worse. Like, my illness has gotten worse. One of them happened on the birthday show, which was absolutely devastating. Just like, I was so distraught emotionally from it.
Isn't that sense of failure so bizarre?
It is.
Because I think you and I both understand what an honor this is and what a mantle this is. And at no point you ever want to feel as though the people who put you in this position made a mistake, or that they think they've made a mistake. And you're scared.
And you don't want to let yourself
down.
Of being
human. Yeah.
But understanding that we all get sick and we all, go through the ups and downs of what this bloody thing is. And so that was just a yucky night for me. And it happened on another Saturday matinee once, and I sort of pushed through, but then didn't do the second show. I think that was the case. So it just happens, and you just got to honor that. And there are actually no medals for pushing through something that's not possible to push through, right? And everyone understands, and the person that you have to convince the most is actually yourself. Agreed.
I think people we don't realize how cruel we can be to ourselves without even realizing. You come up with all of this pressure and all of these consequences if you don't do this. And the problem with YouTube is, because there's so many videos out there of that one performance that was so perfect, it's assumed that guy sings like that every show. It's not true.
It's
just not true. I mean, did you ever see Casey Levy on Broadway with Frozen going onto Twitter and saying how awful she felt that she had to opt down at the end of Let It Go that night in that performance because she's just not feeling it?
No, I never.
And she was so open. She was so open about how she felt about it and why she did it, and that she was glad she made that decision and that tomorrow would be a better show. And I just thought, I think we all need to communicate with each other a lot more and not try and seem as though we're perfect all the time, because nobody is.
No.
Especially in this role where you are emotional and you're screaming and you're shouting. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said, you and I had this basic conversation once online where I said to you, you get to the end of the week, and because you've got a day off the next day, you give a little bit more. And then the first day back after your day off, you go, oof, I shouldn't have given that much. But, you know, the push and pull of it. And in that moment, you can't mark. I mean, Rainer, sometimes when I say to him, you know, I'm feeling rough today. I'm feeling rough today. And he'll say, well, then just mark through it. You can't in this role. Because I myself stand out of my body and go, you're such a phony. You know, they've paid. They've paid.
It's interesting. I think I have learned that there is an 80% that I can sit at and be consistent at. And actually trying to do 100% is not what I feel is 100%. Actually might be giving too much. It doesn't read any better. It can be a bit pushed and we go, that's actually too much emotion. Like it doesn't seem real. I might get a cathartic experience out of it, releasing something, but it's actually not what Eric needs. So it's just finding that level. That I think that just takes time. And once again, in 5 years' time, when we go back to it, hypothetically, we'll find another version of it that is right for that time and that experience. I actually posted a question on my Instagram earlier today, which is around this perfectionism thing, which I think is a sort of universal problem, not just as performers, but what would you do? What hobby would you do if you didn't have to be perfect at it, successful at it, or even good at it? Like, there are so many things I feel like we choose not to do because we don't want to be shit at it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play piano. You play piano brilliantly. I don't play piano because I fear my imperfection at it.
Right.
And so I don't try and get better because I'm like, I'm never going to be a great pianist, or and so I don't even try.
Yeah. That's actually very true. And I mean, so many people, being in a lockdown now, I mean, now's the time. Now's actually the time. You want to talk about the perfect opportunity that's come your way. But I think overall, did your buds just run out of power?
I'm just switching.
Oh, okay. Mine do that all the time. I'll be halfway through a conversation and get that notification, like, for God's sake. Anyway, the thing about this particular role is because what's fashionable amongst fans is comparison. They turn colleagues into competitors. Mm-hmm. And that's not what we are. We're all actually a fraternity, which is why I think, things like this are so valuable and so important, because only people who've played this role know all these little things. As a phantom, where your voice is on, you have come here when it goes to the F sharp, G sharp. If B is going to happen on that phrase. And when that doesn't happen, you still have to get through the whole song thinking, shit, what am I going to do if it's not there? I mean, it's wonderful.
I have certain things about other notes. B is actually in an epically good spot in my voice. A flat E vowel off a plosive is like comfort zone because of just where my voice sits.
Yeah.
There's other things in it that
Mausoleum?
I find challenging. Mausoleum, definitely. That's
Angel.
Angel I love. Mausoleum, for me, that's the... Yeah.
No, I mean the word angel in Mausoleum.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a G, for God's sake.
Yeah. Do you do the version... There's sort of two versions. One is the melody and one's the harmony.
We have the option. Yeah.
Okay. So, hold on, in your version, is everyone singing, or is it just Christine and... phantom singing, or is it Ronald singing?
No, we've got the trio version. Oh,
Okay.
I've just been told we have 14 seconds remaining. We might have to redial this.
Okay, redial. Everyone come back in. We're not finished.
Okay, we'll be right back. We'll be right back.